Hello everyone and welcome back to Revs and Reviews. Today I have an electric vehicle that brings some controversy into the news. So this is the all-new 2025 Dodge Charger Daytona EV Stage 1. This one also has a few other upgrades as well, and this one is also priced just under $51,000 with an MSRP of about $56,000. Now, a lot of people have been looking at like the Dodge Charger Daytona and they have been like, well, it's electric. It may not have as much power as the gas version and it might not even look as good as the gas version, but I really do like the Charger Daytona EV. So the main reason why I want to review this today is because A, they are pretty hard to find and I haven't been able to find one that has been available for me to review, but today I finally found one. So this one does have a few upgrades, but I do want to start with your 20-inch wheels down here. So you do get these nice 20-inch wheels, and then with the Stage 1 package, you are going to get the RT badge in that Stage 1 package. Now, another thing that you will get with this $1,600 package is you're going to get about 40 more horsepower underneath the hood. Now, this one is also all-wheel drive, which means you are going to get a little bit more power. Now, on top of that, you're also going to get your gloss black top, which is nice. This one does not have the sun and sound package, but it does have the adaptive cruise control and all your safety features on the inside. Now, another thing that this one does have is the logo from back in the day, back in 1962 to 1981. Now, that logo was used on the original Charger Daytona, and it now has carried to reintroduce the electric Dodge Charger Daytona Stage 1, which I do think is quite cool. Now, although this is not the Scat Pack version, you can option it out to be a Scat Pack, and you can get about 200 or 481 horse, or a little bit over 496 horsepower. So let's hop into the hood and see if there's a frunk underneath the hood. Now, although there's not an engine under the hood, since this is an electric vehicle, you're not getting a frunk under here, but you can still fill up your windshield wiper fluid over there, and then you get that nice Dodge badge under there. I do wish it would say like Daytona or Stage 1 or like RT under there or something, but going over your battery specs and all the features that you get, so with the 400 volt battery, you are going to get 496 horsepower, 404 pound-feet of torque, and then you're also going to get all-wheel drive with 308 miles of range. This can obviously not tow anything, and then the one thing you will get is the ability to go 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds, and on top of that, you can also charge this vehicle at a mile per 9 minutes, or like a mile every minute, which is great, including if you are on a fast charger. Now, if you're on a DC fast charger, you can go from 0 to 0% to 100% in about half an hour, which I do think is quite great for a vehicle like this, and considering it is electric, and a lot of people do worry about the fact that they do have range anxiety, which is common, including if you are driving this vehicle long distances. Now, moving along to your front end here, you do have a pretty cool front end here with your little hood R-wing, they call it. So it is for dynamic purposes. So as you can see, you have your LED projector headlights, and then that wing kind of is open to give the vehicle a little bit more aerodynamics to maximize that range and maximize the power. Now, another thing you will notice is another logo down here that is from the old Dodge Charger Daytona. Now, also, since this has adaptive cruise control, you're going to notice there is parking sensors along the front, and there's parking sensors and cameras all the way around the vehicle. Now, the main reason why this does compare with a lot of other sports vehicles and or electric vehicles like Tesla, like the Tesla Model 3 Performance and the Tesla Model Y Performance, is because this doesn't really look like an electric vehicle, I do have to say. It kind of does look like a gas vehicle, and Dodge is planning on coming out with a gas version of this and a four-door version, which I'm kind of excited to see. Now, another thing that this vehicle has is along the back, it does have a great sounding exhaust. Even though it is fake, it does sound kind of cool. And if you didn't notice, it does say Daytona down there, but let's go ahead and remote start it here. And a lot of things that you don't see on a regular electric vehicle is going to be a regular key fob with remote start. So that that is what your exhaust sounds like, and I do have to say it does sound quite nice. And even though it is just a speaker underneath there, I do think it does sound pretty cool. Now, of course, you can just tap twice to turn it off. And I mean, obviously it does have hints of that electric sound and or electric noise, but I do really still like it. Now, overall, the exterior of this vehicle is great, and honestly, it still has that same Dodge Charger shape with that like boat design, because this is a pretty big vehicle, and it is a pretty big vehicle to drive because it does seem like you're driving a way bigger vehicle than what it actually is. So let's hop inside and go over all the tech features here on the inside of the new 2025 Dodge Charger Daytona EV. Now, moving along to the interior, you will get keyless entry on all 3 of your doors, including your trunk and then your 2 front doors. Now, moving along to the interior, this one is more of your base model, so you're not going to get your mood lighting, or as they call it, the attitude adjustment lighting. So it is that plastic door panel with a little bit of red stitching, not a huge cup holder, and then the button right down there is to release the door, and there's an emergency release down there as well. Now, moving along to the interior here, up front we do have about 42.6 inches of legroom up here. We also do have that 10.25 inch driver display and that 12.3 inch touchscreen for your passengers. Now, the one thing that this one does have is the cloth and leather duo, which means basically it's heated leather cloth seats, and it is 8-way power adjustable for the driver with 2-way lumbar support, and then the passenger side is the 4-way manual adjustable seat. Now, overall, you also do have a back seat back here, which we will check out here in a little bit. But now let's hop inside and see what Dodge offers for technology. Now, moving into your interior here, you do have that 10.25 inch driver display, and then you have your 12.3 inch touch screen over here. Now, with your driver display over here, you will get tons of customizations. So the main customization that we see right now is this like calm mode, which is nice, and those little red dots are moving, which I do think is really cool. Now, on top of that, we can switch back to our more sporty gear selector and design, and it will give us more of a complex view. Now, on top of that, we can also switch back to that, and then when we are in this gear setup theme, we can also go over our driver info, our music, our stored messages, our screen setup, and then our performance, as well as our vehicle info. On top of that, we can go to our drag time, our lap timer, our G-forces, and then our top speed, and then our performance, and then our battery specs. Now, with screen setup, we can go and customize what we see at the upper left, the upper right, and then we can restore to the default, which I do think is quite cool. Now, on top of that, you're also going to get different drive modes. Now, you're also going to get adaptive cruise control, as well as front ABS, rear ABS, and the ability for the car to drive it off or drive itself, which is basically going to be your active driving assist, which is going to keep you in your lane. Basically, all you have to do is touch the steering wheel once in a while. That way the car knows that you're still awake. Now, on top of that, we do get different drive modes. So we get sport mode, which is going to give you more of a rumble. So I'll roll down my window here real quick, and we can rev it when we are in sport mode. And I do think that is a cool feature to have, including since this is all-wheel drive, we do get the sport mode, which will turn your traction control off. Now, on top of that, if we switch over, we can go to auto, which will turn your exhaust down just a little bit. Then we can go to wet and snow, which will turn on your all-wheel drive system and turn off your paddle shifters. Then it will go back to sport, and then you can go into auto. Now, your power shot is going to give you 40 more horsepower, which is nice. You also do get the speed limit recognition, which is nice, and I do like. Now, I also do like that it shows the regenerative braking down here, and then your braking coach, and then your little gear selector and what gear you're in, and then it will also show your battery percentage, and we are at 75%. Now, on top of all that, the main mode that I really do like is going to be that calm mode, which I do really like that screen. Now, of course, here on the interior, we do have the flat bottom steering wheel, which is heated, which is nice. Now, on top of that, since we do have a sport mode, it can go 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. And I do have to say, the interior is really nice. Now, we do get the Alpine 9-speaker system, which is going to give us a great sounding audio system, but I obviously can't share it here on YouTube because I will get copyrighted. Now, moving along to our our infotainment screen over here, it is a 12.3-inch touch display, and we do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, in which some automotive manufacturers like Chevy and GM are moving away from putting Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in their electric vehicles, which I do think is quite unfortunate. Now, we do have our widget set up here with our Uconnect system. Obviously, this is the same system out of the Jeep. Since this is a Mopar product, we can reorder our pages, we can select our widgets. So if we want layout 2, we can press a widget right here. We can have our shortcut, we can have our seats and wheel, basically our heated steering wheel, and then we can see our power flow. And I do think that is pretty cool. And then we can have our shortcuts, so we have drive modes, we have a sport mode, we can have wet and snow. That way you can like change your drive modes while you're driving. And then we can have this go to Sirius XM, and then we can have this go to our heated steering wheel, which is nice. So basically it is a very useful system, and I do have to say, since you can add pages, it is really customizable, and I do like that. Now, when we go to our media, we have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, and then we have our AM FM radio. Now, we do get adaptive climate, which is nice, or dual climate, I should say, and you can actually control it through these haptic buttons right here. So they're not actually buttons, and it's not like a touch screen, but they are like, you can click down and it'll just vibrate. That way it gives you that feeling like you are actually touching a button. Now you can connect your phone right here, and then you can go to your vehicle settings. You can see your scheduled charging, your battery level right now, and then you can see your power flow, and then your range impact, and then your driving history. Now on top of that, you can go to your dashboard. You can see your performance pages. Now this is going to give you timers. This is going to show you your gauges, and then your propulsion. Now we can go back here, and then we can see our controls, we can see our vehicle cameras, and then we can favorite that as well and see our camera. Now on top of that, we can go to our settings here, and we can see our display mode. We can also set a theme, which is nice, and theme 2 is going to be a little bit different. It's a little bit darker, but I do like the theme 1. So we'll leave that on theme 1, and then you can also go to your touch screen beeps, your display. You can set up your profiles, and then you can go to your safety features and stuff, and then you can also have it like on high volume or low volume for your adaptive cruise control. You can also turn on and off your EV sound. So if you don't want your EV sound on, you can make it go completely silent. And then if you do want it on, you can just press it and it will turn back on, which is nice, considering it is only a speaker back there. And then basically you can control all of your lights and stuff. And like I said, this one does not have the ambient lighting, but you will get software updates across your screen here. And then we can go into our apps down here. Now you will get standard navigation, which is nice. You do have your services, your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, your Comfort app, your mirror dimmer, your navigation, your rear view camera, your heated seats, your vehicle cameras, and basically it's just your rear view camera. Now on top of that, we have all of our media settings, our comfort settings, our navigation, our phone, our vehicle system, and then other, and we do have an SOS mode if you were to crash. And then you can also go to your navigation, and this can also, if I press this button up here, it will show us charging points and basically where we can charge the vehicle at. So we do have a couple of different EV charging stations here. We actually have a lot here in West Bend, which is nice, and they're pretty far away, or actually not too far away, but then if we zoom out, we can see how many charging stations are in the area. So if I want to go over to my hometown with this, I live right over here. I probably shouldn't show you guys where I live, but I live over here in this Beaver Dam area, and we don't really have a lot of EV charging outlets here, but we do have one in Mayville. I live in Horicon, over by the Horicon Marsh, and we absolutely have no charging stations. We have one charging station in Beaver Dam, which is at the Piggly Wiggly in Beaver Dam, if you are from Wisconsin and did not know that. But basically, very responsive touch screens in here. I really do like all the customizations, and down here, You're not getting a wireless charging pad, but you are getting your parking sensors on and off button, your lane keeping assist on and off, 2 USB-C ports, a nice big open space here, and then you will have a real gear selector, which is nice. And I do think that is quite cool because considering that it's an electric vehicle, you don't usually see a shifter like that. Now, another thing that you will get is going to be paddle shifters, because there is like a little bit of a one gear transmission, I believe they call it, where it does simulate gears and you can fully shift the vehicle, which I do think is cool. And I really do like the fact that the vehicle can basically drive itself. Now, another thing you will get down here is 2 cup holders, and then I want to go and show you the key fob, because I really do like the key fob. It has a little bit of carbon fiber accents and it says Dodge on it. You also have your remote start, unlock and lock, and your panic button. And then this button right here is going to be your power button to turn your vehicle on and off. And when you turn the vehicle off, it will show you where you can charge. And if you're on a fast charger, it'll take 53 minutes to go from 0 to 100. A 240 volt, it'll take 36 minutes. And then if you are on a regular house charger, it'll take about 6 hours to charge up to a full charge. Now let's hop into the back seats and see if a 6-foot tall person can fit comfortably in the back of the new Dodge Charger Daytona. Moving along into the back seats here, I'm not hopeful that a 6-foot person can fit comfortably back here, but basically all you have to do is move your seat up and then it will start moving up automatically. Now back here, there's probably not a ton of legroom back here. I believe it's only a few inches, and as you can see, it'll probably get a little bit cramped back here. So let me hop back here and I'll show you how much legroom I have. And now I'm sitting back in the back seat of the Dodge Charger Daytona, and I do have to be honest, I can fit back here. I have 2 rear AC vents as well as 2 USB-C ports, no cup holders back here. Or actually, there is cup holders back here. They are just in this little armrest that you can see right there, and I really do like them. Now, you do have a decent amount of legroom back here. This is my driving position here in the Daytona. You have a pocket on the back of this seat and a pocket on the back of that seat. And I do have to say, there's plenty of room back here. You could fit 2 decent-sized adults back here. You could probably even fit a car seat or 2 back here, because I do believe there is lower latch anchors for car seats. And honestly, it's a very spacious back seat, considering this is only a 2-door car. Now, to get out, I just pull this lever over here and move that forward, and the seat will start moving forward. And one thing that you do have to be careful about when getting out is going to be honking the horn with the headrest. But I do have to be honest, it's very easy to get in and out of here. And honestly, when I got back here, all I did was kind of just sit back and relax. And overall, I really do like how spacious it is back here. So let's hop into the cargo area and see how much junk we can fit in the trunk. Moving along to the back of the vehicle, this is where you actually charge your vehicle. So you just open this up and then you can charge with 2 different connectors, and there is a little release button there as well. Now, moving along to the rear end of the vehicle here, you are going to get a nice design back here, obviously, and you are going to get a hatchback type of trunk area. So if we press the little button back here, it is not a power lift gate. You cannot option it out with a power lift gate, but you do have a nice sunshade back here, and you can fold those rear seats down as well. Now with the rear seats up, it's about 22.8 cubic feet of space, and with the seats down, it's about 37.4 cubic feet of space. Now, in the rear seats, I did have about 37 inches of legroom, which is really impressive considering that this is an electric vehicle on top of a 2-door vehicle. And I also do like the fact that you can fold down the seats in the rear trunk. Now let's go over my honest opinions. Now, overall, for just under $51,000 and about a $57,000 MSRP, this one is priced at $51,000, so it is on kind of a discount right now. Now, this Charger EV is a great electric vehicle, and I do have to say, it's fun to drive. It does give you those looks, and obviously, people will be staring when you're revving your electric vehicle, and I do have to admit, it does sound good, and I really do like it. It's better than having a pedestrian sound when you're backing up, because you actually do have the exhaust, which is nice. Now, overall, for just under $51,000, I mean, I would consider buying one. I mean, I really do like it. If you don't have any kids, or maybe you have like one kid, you can put a car seat in the back and drive this around. It's a fun vehicle. It's all-wheel drive. And I mean, let me know your opinions in the comments down below. Would you take a Dodge Charger EV, or would you just wait for the gas version? Now, before I end the review, a huge thank you to Russ, Darrow, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Nissan, and West Bend, Wisconsin for letting me come out and review this beautiful 2025 Dodge Charger Daytona EV Stage 1. Have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in the next review.